Okay, well, I mean, I'll just give you an overview and then we'll jump right into it. Like I said, like my professor's wanting us to do like these informational interviews, talk to
Hmm.
like entrepreneurs and all that kind of stuff. I'm personally going into marketing, so they're just having us
Awesome.
reach out to people, kind of in that industry and ask how they do it. And you've
Mhm.
kind of done a lot of it, so I figured a good place to start would be to get you on the line, man.
Am I going to be on this video in front of like people or something?
Yeah, maybe. So there's a lot of us in the class. They potentially may like have a couple for like display. If you're all right with that, I can do that. If you don't want to do that, we don't have to do that. It's
No, I was
totally
just
up to
making
you.
sure. All right. Well, if I see what is up class and everybody
Yeah,
who's watching this
sweet,
in the
right on.
future, yeah. So
Cool deal. Well, yeah, I'll get right into it, man. You've done a lot. You're an author, and if I keep looking, it's because I have my notes here, so I can kind of stay on track.
mhm.
You're an author, soaper, pickup artist, content creator, musician, and ultimately, an entrepreneur. Kind of a jack in all trades. Your first hit being that kind of, from at least to my knowledge, that soaping video that was in PacSun and like all that kind of stuff.
Uh-huh.
How did that? How did kind of starting doing like professional soaping, and if you want to like explain what that is in the beginning, and then and how has it kind of led you to where you're at now?
Um, they're in they're in the other room here, but let me see.
Sweet, 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 sweet.
Yeah, that's from. If you don't know what soaping is, it's these special shoes right here with plastic plates on the bottom, and you can slide on stuff like skateboarding, but without a skateboard. And it was pretty popular in the '90s, the late '90s.
Sick. Right on, man. Very cool. Did that kind of help you, like, lead you to where you're at? I know you kind of have your book, like Soap or Die. You like kind of have all that stuff. Is that kind of just an independent thing, or did that kind of put you to where you're at now?
Um, that's a long story. Let's see if I can make it short.
Cool.
I was rollerblading. I wanted to kind of be the best at rollerblading, but I started much later. It would have took me several more years to get to the level of where the best guys in the world were at that time.
Sure.
Soap Shoes magically shows up out of nowhere. Nobody's ever heard of them. It's a brand new product. I already know how to slide down rails in my rollerblades, so I get
Sweet.
an idea in my head that's like, well, I would be one of the pioneers of this. If I take this serious and take it to a whole new level, then I could be the best in the world at that. And who knows if the company blew up,
Yeah.
like I had suggested, if they had advertised and they got the shoes in Toys R Us and Foot
Yeah.
Locker, they wouldn't have just been a $20 million company. They would have been a $200 million company, but they wanted to keep it very underground,
Okay.
and so it just never became a mainstream sport. And so, of course, and they didn't really care about helping us to become professionals. We're not going to like put you guys' names in the videos, and
Oh
so we
man.
made like a little bit of money, which was cool in high school, but ultimately it just didn't take off the way that I thought it was going to, and ultimately I got fired, which led me into like going into um, getting more serious into music. And
Sweet.
in order to do that, I had to go to the Navy to get my GI Bill paid for, so I could go to school and be a recording engineer. And anyway, all of that basically led me to the my other job, kind of like that I'm doing now.
Mm-hmm.
I work at all the arenas and the stadiums in Las Vegas doing all kinds of audio video stuff. And so that's like a six-figure job on the side. And then I also have my dating coaching business. And then, of course, with that, it's writing books to promote that, making YouTube videos,
Right.
and a lot of stuff doing coaching calls that would be kind of similar to this video coaching calls where I'd be charging guys. And so all of this all together, basically,
Mm-hmm.
as an entrepreneur, it's like all of these little money making ventures all
Absolutely.
end up going to the same bank account. And at the end of the year, it adds up.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's kind of what I want to touch on the most. I appreciate that background. Is like your big thing right now is the the dating coach stuff and like all that kind of stuff. And I do think it's pretty impressive how it's you've continued to go several books, like all that kind of stuff. How is your content overall? Because like as you know, as we've talked about before, like I've been following your content for like a while, man. And
Mhm.
how is it like? How has it changed? From when it started to now. Like, what are the necessary changes you've had to make? Like, I know you have anywhere
Okay.
from like hanging out with your friends to like cooking videos to the dating advice. Like, how have those changes kind of come about?
I think is it still recording?
Yeah, yeah, we're good.
Okay, so where were we at? Oh, Yeah, I think technology has changed it a lot. Like especially even in this last year, in the last 2 years, basically with the growth of AI technology, that's really changed a lot of my workflow. Now, I've discovered all of these little AI apps that are basically allowing me to take my old content, and for one example, there's an AI that will quadruple the size of your images and maintain
The
the
quality.
same or quality, or to upscale or
That's
enhance
huge.
it. And so some of my old books, like the Pro Soper book, I'm basically taking all the old images from the 90s that were like from a 480p camera, and I'm
Okay.
being able to put them up into HD or UHD quality.
Sweet.
And so I'm actually redoing the Pro Soper book into a new um, like kind of a 10-year anniversary edition, where
Sick.
all the images are scaled, and all the colors are going to be brighter and more saturated, and the AI is helping to redraw a lot of the images that were like pixelated.
Okay.
And there's like another program that will, for example, if like the eyes or your face are pixelated, it will kind of redraw the face,
Oh, sweet.
and it will look better or more attractive than you were in the first picture, which is
Sick.
also changing my dating coaching stuff, because now I'm getting clients that are having me fix up their Tinder and their
Hmm.
Bumble and their Hinge profiles, and they're like, "Hey, I have pictures," and
Right.
they can the picture, and then I can AI enhance their picture. I can swap the background out. I can basically make them look like a model instead of the like selfie that they took,
Yeah.
and that's
Yeah. Yeah.
enhancing attractiveness on their Tinder, which is
Sure.
helping them to get dates and more from harder and
Absolutely.
harder.
Absolutely, man. And that's also like, I think that's a very like unique field to get into. What brings you to? Is it? Do you think like it's the environment, like being in Vegas and all that kind of stuff? I mean, what kind of brought you to
Vegas
that
is
field?
definitely a good place for dating, because you're dealing with people as an international city, and it's one of the fastest growing cities in the world, and it's
Yeah.
only getting bigger. With They just put in a new 18,000 person arena called the Sphere, and they're building
Yeah.
another mega sports arena that's another like $5 billion. We're getting a baseball team, and it's just basically coming in the new Los Angeles, but and the sports mecca of the world,
Sweet.
and it's drawing people internationally from all over the world. So you're dealing with not just like locals, like if I was living in the middle of Montana or something. I'm dealing with women from all over the world, and guys from all over the world, and
Sure.
guys want to come here, but they don't know what they're doing.
Right. Yeah.
So it's good
Absolutely.
for them to grab someone who knows what they're doing and can teach them how to approach and meet women, and uh, close phone numbers and set up dates. And
Sweet.
so it's like a really good home base for that.
Nice.
But
No. Yeah. That totally makes sense. Now, obviously, with like changing technology, it's just like new problems and all that kind of stuff. And as someone who's been doing it a long time, man, what challenges have you run into? Starting these ventures. What's kind of the main thing to look out for if you're looking to go out and start your own deal and kind of be self sufficient?
maybe because there's just like so much going on,
Hmm.
you kind of have to like put blinders on, and get rid of distractions in the world,
Sure.
and just be focused in like a laser to what you're doing,
Yeah.
and not really get off track, where like the newest trend on TikTok comes up, and people might be just suppose I forget the word. They might be I don't know, inclined to jump off of what they're doing onto some new trend or some new idea.
Got it.
I don't know how many times like I'm super involved in what I'm doing, and there's no chance of me going off my course. I'm just focused in like a laser. It doesn't matter. I think of like a ship going from one place to another.
Sure.
If there's a big storm, the ship doesn't like move around. It just battens down the hatches and continues
Absolutely.
towards its destination. And a lot of people will be like, well, why do you keep doing this dating coaches? Oh, that stuff is kind of played out. Why don't you, mine Bitcoin? Why don't you do this?
Hmm.
Yeah, yeah. Why don't you do that? And I'll just keep doing what I'm doing.
Yeah.
And over time, as you see the progression, it just gets bigger. I think, people aren't really focused in. They don't see the constant improvement.
Oh
And
yeah.
you could do that with anything, whether it's music or
Sure.
sports, as long as like you just keep focused on what you're doing, and not worrying what but other people are doing. You're going to continue to progress.
I mean, what's next? You're kind of doing a lot. Like, what's on the docket? Are you just improving your pickup game? Are you generating new music? Are you like, what is there something we don't even know about yet? Like like you were doing your cooking videos for a while. Like, is there something like that's next on the plate that you're planning to
Well,
release here pretty soon?
right now, um, I have two new books that I wrote. that'll be coming out in 2024. A
Sweet.
dating advice book for women, and then an actual book for people who want to be dating coaches or life coaches or entrepreneurs or anything.
Mm-hmm.
And it's basically how to convert your content into like a 6-figure business from home. It's called
Sick.
So You Want to Be a Dating Coach. And I already wrote those books, and I need to edit them, and it's going to take at least 6 months to a year. But
Sure. Well, yeah, right on, man. Man, I think that's all the questions I have for the class. Like, we can still chill for a minute if you want, but like, before we end, like, do you have anything like overarching that you want to say that you kind of want to leave with everybody with? Just kind of like a summary of, being an entrepreneur or something like that, and then at the end, like anything you want to plug, anything, I'll obviously have your credentials, pretty easy to find, but anything like that.
Like I said, I think best advice for like people that are entrepreneurs or wanting to get into that is really just a mindset thing, and kind of just, notice the world is just kind of going all over the place, and they have their own agenda, whatever, and you just have to, like, if your course is here, just stay on your course.
Absolutely.
And don't what is the word, negate or like defer from your goal. Whether you got to stay focused on that.
Sure.
And it's not necessarily going to happen overnight. I kind of like to call it like this concept I create called chiseling, which is like, Rome wasn't made in a day, or the pyramids weren't made in a day. But if you chisel away, 30 minutes here, right when you wake up in the morning, get coffee, work an hour on your stuff, and then over the course of, let's say, 6 months, 8 months, or a year, your new product will eventually manifest, or the new business that you're trying to run. Or for me, like, it's a new book. I didn't write any of those books in one day. They happen over the course of a year or several years, but like I chisel away at it a little bit every day.
Sure. No, and I think that's huge, especially for like even me, like I like being a student, like going to school and like working and like all that kind of stuff, and then like obviously on the side, like I want to do my thing, like with like whether it be like music or like creating content or videos and all that kind of stuff. Like I think like, okay, like, well, I want to make this video, blah 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 blah, but like in my head I have a lot, like, okay, it's going to take me like 2 hours. Oh, I don't have 2 hours, I'll have to do it tomorrow. Whereas I think that might help is wake up like 30 minutes earlier before you go to work and just like slowly piece away at it. I think a lot of people could benefit from that.
That's that's the workflow that I've been using. I think when I really started doing this more seriously since like 2011, 2012, and it's just like I think Elon Musk calls it your high IQ state. Jeff Bezos calls it I think it's Elon Musk says it's calls it focus blocks of time, and I think Jeff Bezos calls it your high IQ state, which is like right when you wake up in the morning, you have your coffee, you're at your highest like point of cognition.
Yeah.
And that's when it's like you're going to do the best work, and then through the day you just kind of fade out. So
absolutely.
For me, my workflow is like basically as soon as I wake up, I'm pouring coffee and I'm on the computer and I'm typing and I'm doing like my high IQ stuff for 1 hour, and then once that alarm rings, then I take a break. Then I go walk around the block or eat some food or something like that to kind of refresh, and then I do another focus block of time for like another hour. But that's just how I've done it, and I've been able to, like, I don't know, I've written over 60 books now, and not all of them are on Amazon, but as I continue like getting more and more stuff out, it
sure,
in time more and more things manifest. So
yeah, absolutely. Well, right on, man. No, thank you for that. I mean, that about wraps up everything I have for the interview.
Cool.
But yeah, dude. Yeah, thanks for.
I gotta get into my call right now.
Sweet. Well, hey, again, I appreciate it, man.